Hi, welcome back to another episode of my channel. Today I just want to show you how I cook something that I believe there are just so many recipes for, all pretty boring. So I want to really heighten it. Can anybody guess? I'm making onion bhajis. Yes, I do have an onion pakoda video, that one of my first videos that I made on this channel would have been not last spring but the spring before, and that's a video I made not long after coming back from living in Asia, where onion pakoda was very popular street snack, and you know, they tend to use the smaller ones. Now I want to do something like a BIR type of onion bhaji, but I just want to heighten it. This is just going to be the ultimate gourmet onion bhaji. It's going to be a great snack, really easy to cook as well. So we have two onions here. One I haven't cut. I want to demonstrate how I get nice little slices. Yes, it's a small thing, but it's a little tip, and you know, like this. So we have one onion cut, one onion not cut. We'll come back to that in a moment. We have a cup of chickpea flour or besan, and sift your flour. So put the colander on top and push it all through so it's really, really soft and fine, not gritty or lumpy. We're going to be using some ginger and garlic paste, just over a teaspoon. And here we have the great spices that are really going to enhance these flavours. So we have half a teaspoon of fenugreek powder, half a teaspoon of fennel seed, half a teaspoon of cumin seed, just under half a teaspoon of ajwain seed, half a teaspoon of black mustard seed, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder, Kashmiri, and we have about 8 chilies that I've cut up with scissors. That's another really great tip. Cut them up with scissors. And we have 1.5 teaspoons of mixed powder there. You can find mixed powder recipes on my channel, a number of them, various, and half a teaspoon of salt. Obviously, adapt the chilies according to your taste. This is pretty spicy. This is just how I want it. So the onions. First I'd cut it in half. Now what people tend to do is cut it that way. And yeah, you get nice long slivers. It helps to have long slivers when you're making an onion bhaji, because you want it to be pretty long so that they all bind together with the ingredients nicely. But what I do, how to get really nice slivers, is cut circularly, if that's even such a word, and really fine as well. Really fine, and just in a circle motion like that. And it's a lot more practical than doing it the other way. So have a go for yourself and see if that's a tip or not. That's the way I do it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on to the ingredients. So I find a lot of people are making a batter. They're making a batter with water and the besan. I don't do that. You end up with probably too much water. It's better to add your ingredients first to the besan there and give it a good stir. We'll come back. So we've got a nice spicy chickpea flour or besan mix there. We'll put aside. So just to note, off camera I did add the ginger and garlic paste to the besan, and I did not add the salt. Okay, I kept the salt separate, and what we do, we rub that salt into the onion. And what will happen, that salt will help those onions become moist, and you want all your strands of onion separated, totally separate, and you can already feel that salt drawing the water out of those onions. So when they're all separated, leave it to set. Just leave it stand there for 5 minutes. You'll see how much water you get from those onions. You don't need to make a batter. Let's come back shortly. So those have been standing now for about 5 minutes. They're wet, pretty slimy. It's amazing what rubbing them with salt does when you individualise them. So they're wet enough. Now we're just going to add half of it, and we're going to give that a good stir. We'll come back. And while this is happening, it's a good idea to have a pan with about a pint, or you know, around half a litre of oil heating up alongside, so you can get cooking straight away. So they're half mixed. I'm going to add the rest of the spicy chickpea mix, and I'm just going to give that a stir. Good idea to use your hands now, but don't squeeze the onions. Do it quite gently. Make sure it's really well mixed. We'll come back. So there we go. So I mixed as much as I could. When it got pretty dry, I added like an egg cup of water, really small amount of water, and dripped it on evenly, and it just helped loosen the mix up. But I don't like to use too much water. It just prolongs it crisping up. So what we do now, we'll go to the frying part in a minute, but I'll just show you. Wet hand, grab a ball. I don't know, you can make these as big as you want. The bigger you make them, the more difficult it is to get the inside cooked. But I'm going to go for about that size. So just a little bit bigger than a golf ball. And we're just going to add one of the onions into the oil to see if it's ready. If it floats to the top in a couple of seconds, you know your oil's hot enough. Nearly there. So I'm going to be adding these in batches to the oil. We'll come back and get a nice close-up of the cooking. So they're frying away really nicely. Do not cram your pan, just a couple in the pan at a time, you know, 3, depending on what size your pan is, obviously. But you can see the oil's yellowed. It turns yellow, isn't it, because of the turmeric, and we can recycle this oil. You might add it to, you know, curries. We all know that onion bhaji oil is nice, natural seasoned oil. Not great, not as good as my Nipakibu recipe that you can find on YouTube. That's a really amazing oil. Spicing your own ghee, Nitakiba, followed from a Somalian recipe, but you can find that on my channel, one of the earlier videos, very popular video. So we're just going to turn those, make sure they don't stick to the bottom. We can see they're looking great already. So you might be thinking, oh, you haven't added any coriander. I'm going to be making, the next video after this one, I'm going to be making a coriander sauce for these that is going to be really, really great. It has to be great because these are going to be great, and together it's just going to be a fantastic starter, snack, main course. And yeah, we'll come back when we're dishing up. What am I doing? Didn't press pause then, so sorry you've had to watch about a minute of those frying, but looking good, aren't they? So just while they're still frying, third batch now, you want them on a medium-high heat, not too hot. If you cook them too hot, they'll be deceivingly looking like they're really cooked, and inside they won't be cooked, and it'll be really disappointing. So medium, you want it to trickle, you want it to not ferociously bubble, but just that little trickle. You can always tell your oil's clean with the bubbling, but you just want that bubbling, just like this, and cook them. I mean, this is how they're cooked, much darker than these, yeah. So take your time and don't have the heat too high. So all cooked. Look at those, great, yeah, nice and crisp. Let's break one open. really nice and crispy. Some people use a little bit of combination of the besan and rice flour to make them even more crispier, but that's just really nice, really nicely cooked all the way through. Looking a bit lonely, aren't they? So stay tuned to the next video where I'm going to make a lovely coriander sauce to accompany these beauties.